My instrument's automatic, I can tell that you want it. This is telekinetic. I'll be hexing, leaving you vexed when I move like I was a savage. Murder these niggas out of habit, Mama Teddy chopping heads again. Hey yo, my back against the wall, I'm seeing a pit. I'm diving in the abyss, my birthplace. I made a promise back then to increase the death rate. It's a deal, anticipating my participation in the killing field. It's time to pay back, plus a whole lot more. Ain't no mercy, you can search me, no negotiations in war. I'm like Satan on tour. Yo, I rock from the rich, beat up the poor, cause it ain't nothing, anybody can get it. If you gas and I light up, combustible God. Moonlight killer, this is judgment will cause too many lifetimes. You making our frequency pause, you frequently flawed. I'm taboos out, while killer devils and gods. Halfway between the stars and the gutter I fell. Enemies ain't hard to tell. They wear a halfway grin, they got praises on their lips while they pray for my hell. You should hear the stories they tell. Did you see that look in my eye? I got a supreme plan, feet on the ground, see me walk in the sky. Call me Jedi, 28 grams, 16 times, got you red eye slanted. I'm on the red eye to slam them. Pull up with turbulence, ruin their peace, I'm disturbing, I'm execution, the dead is seductive. Sing the Ottawa lullaby. Hey yo, La Muna was a yo. What's good? What's good? What's good? In the building, one time for the one time. As we are broadcasting live here on Facebook, YouTube, and on Clubhouse all at the same time. So I want to say what's good to everyone who's in the building. What's going on? What's going on? If you are already a part of the Alchemy Temple family, then one time for the one time like this, just send you a shout out off the rip. If you are not a part of Alchemy Temple yet, then you might find this to be a spot that you might want to come and get this inner evolution going. So today I want to just say what's up to everybody in Clubhouse, everybody on Facebook, and everybody on YouTube and Instagram. One time, one big shout out. So the reason I wanted to do this type of broadcast today specifically is because I want to deal with some of these particular energies that are going on that we're dealing with on a regular basis, and to kind of possibly help you to map out and to navigate your situations a little bit more than the way you've been doing it. So we will have paid live divinations. I will be only doing the readings for $25. I'm doing it for that price today. Also, we're going to have a little lecture, a nice little lecture put together for you. So I just kind of want to talk to you about this particular Saturnic energy, right? And this energy of Saturn and what we're dealing with. And of course, we know that each and every single one of the planets is associated with a particular region or section on the body. So, depending on what part of the body you're dealing with, that's going to determine on which planet that you're dealing with as well. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk specifically about Saturn, which is the root chakra energy, and what that has to do as pertaining to, you on a regular day-to-day basis in a day-to-day situation on how are you operating with that process at once. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go ahead and go through that. So I just want to, and I'm not going to be here long. I do have a few people already signed up. I'm not going to be here long. I'm going to keep it moving, but I do want to just go ahead and start that. So I want to talk to you about Saturn specifically. Okay, we're going to talk about the two different sides of Saturn, because Saturn is often shown as this dark, heavy energy that basically blocks you, restricts you, and leads you to hard lessons and hard times. And that would be the ugly face, or the face of Saturn that is normally recognized by the average person. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they pretty much are showing you when they show you Saturnic energy and the different vibration of this planet. Lead is the metal, the alchemical metal of Saturn. So I want you to understand what lead has to do with you and how these hard lessons and actually what they really mean in the essence of your, does it matter to you? Do you, should you care or not whether or not that's going on? So we just got out of a Mercury retrograde. You know, if you're like a lot of people, Mercury retrograde pretty much put hands on you, and there was no way for you to stop that process or whatever. But actually, you don't have to worry about the you don't have to worry about that retrograde situation. That retrograde situation is a beautiful thing. And if you learn how to work that, then you will become unstoppable. Okay, so when you have retrogrades going, especially Mercury retrogrades are hard. They're known. They have a reputation for being difficult task to get through and to go through that. And as soon as you get out of that, you're in a 4 month retrograde for Saturn. Saturn is retrograding for 4 months. Okay, and I want to talk to you about that particular process of Saturn and how Saturn is ultimately uh, we're going backwards and how that's supposed to affect you. What are you supposed to do over that process? Is that something that's going to help you? Is it something that's going to hurt you? If it is going to hurt you, how do you actually find out how to fix that vibration and fix that energy? So that's what we're going to talk about. So, and speaking of the like fairy tales in particular, um, fairy tales and the science of myths and different, you know, different mythologies throughout the world, different types of fairy tales, these type of stories. The science with that is that they use the science that they use in these fairy tales, the symbolic energy that portrays these stories, these values of collected unconscious psyche, the psyche ability of man, right? And they seem to be apparently innocent, and they have a type of compelling and familiar quality to the stories, and so we naturally get into these stories, we respect these stories, and we understand them very well. These these fairy tales and these mythologies that go, and this is basically the science that I'm getting ready to drop on you now. Is what the mainstream religions are using this particular science right here, and so I want to expose the more compelling and the more uh, deliberately accepting energy of Saturn, and how that energy is not something that should be looked at as a negative vibration, and how the next 4 months are really to be here to help uh, uplift you and to give you certain qualities. So when I do the readings, I'll go through your particular zodiac sign and tell you about how this next 4 months is going to actually go for you as far as the natural energies. Of course, you're going to have your own decisions to make, and you basically control that. But I'm gonna talk to you about how those decisions are made, and or what you should base some things on as you are making your decisions. Sorry. Okay, so we basically need. Oh, my computer. Okay, all right. So basically, what we need to do is we need to understand what these two different sides of the face of Saturn is. In the fairy tales, as we're talking about the fairy tales basically give you all kind of different stories that you're familiar with these different ideas and topics that are superficial, really, as you deal with the cultural differences and the status of the person or whatever. Is basically underneath all of these different comparisons or these different superficial details, there's a very similar symbolic plot that goes on in the characters and the portrayal of man's inner psychic experiences. Okay, and that's what you have to understand. So there's always the same Heru or the same hero, the same stupid ass giant, the same beautiful princess, right? There's always the same buried treasure underground, right? The beast is the dark face of the handsome prince, right? So, in the beauty of the beast is the villain, right? He's appalling. He scares people. Nobody wants to rock with him. They're scared of him. They don't trust him. But the beast who turns into the handsome prince, he's allowed to marry the heroine of the story, and he's allowed to, he's a prince. What comes with being a prince? You attract eligible women. They throw themselves at you, and your status is high, and you have all these. So people are more accepting of you at that point once you become the prince, and that's what Saturn is really doing. But because of the way modern astrology is, modern astrology has been Christianized. Okay, modern astrology has been Christianized, and this is what a lot of people need to understand: that if you are performing any of these modern sciences, such as uh, yoga, tarot cards, astrology, numerology, right? Uh, any of the other left-hand paths, especially the ones that I just named, because those are have become very mainstream. You know, these were adept principle sciences that were used strictly and only by those who were initiated into the higher practices. Okay, so if you were not placed into a higher practice, okay, first of all, let's touch on something here. There have always been people who have had enough skill to evolve themselves into the status, right? You've always had people who've been strong enough to put themselves into a high state, and to self-initiate themselves. But the science is this: once they get to a certain level, then a teacher comes to really ignite them. And see, the beautiful thing about a person who can self-initiate, which is something that you should all do, if you don't have, uh, you know, elders and teachers, and someone who you can go to, because that is very, very rare in today's culture. It's very rare to be able to have somebody that you can pull up on in your neighborhood, or somebody close to family. They've done a serious job on dividing the people, because the people now, if you go back into photographs and you look into history, you can find photographs starting in, like, you can just go back to the 60s or the 70s, and you see family photos, and you start seeing the father taking out the pictures, and you see mothers and children, and and all the way up to now is selfies. And so that's showing, everything that the culture is doing is a part of a ritual. Okay, so they're also documenting a lot of this energy, a lot of this information is documenting energy, is documenting information. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you have cameras on the front of your phone, cameras on the back of the phone. The screen is a camera itself. You have all these microphone, HD quality sound. They're really being able to pick up 3D images based on the technology that we are voluntarily carrying around with us. You know what I'm saying? So we basically want to dive into these two different parts of the beauty and the beast, for instance, as just one example, the paradox of life, in this case, of the beast who actually turns into the prince, the actual prince. So you want to really know about that and understand which one are you, because at all given times, you are going to be one or the other. Now, Saturn, which is the planet that they scare you from, and they say don't fuck with this because Saturn is the satanic energy. Okay, let's just get that out in the open. All right. So if you are a Christian and you are working with the planets, which working with the planets means working with yourself. Okay. So let's get that out in the open. When you work with planets, you work within the planet that is aligned within you, because each planet is associated with a particular point or a particular region, a specific dimension of your temple, of your body temple. All right. So as your physical form, you have this chakra, you have this second body, right? And don't get caught up on the fact that you think you have one body, because you don't have just one body. You have two bodies. You have a physical body and you have an energetic body. That energetic body is what it is. And each chakra is associated to a planet. Okay, so there are 7 major chakras, 5 on the spine, and then the 2 above that go to the top of the head, are the pineal gland and the crown, right? And then, so just dealing with just that basic system of just the 7, you have those 7 natural planets that you can see with your naked eye. So in astrology, for any of the astrologers in the crowd, okay, and this is just the way, this is more of a tribal type of way. This is the way that I do it. You can do it that way. I feel like this gives me much more accuracy. But if you cannot go, first of all, if you're doing charts, astrologists, if you're doing charts and you cannot go outside and look up in the sky and identify the things that you're talking about in your readings and in your charts, You need to go practice a lot more. You have no business talking about astrology if you have not gone through the channels. And this is one of the reasons why initiation is so important, because you have to go through certain channels. When you self-initiate, this is more about internal power and learning how to just get ready for the boosts. Okay. And once you are brought, and not always do you want to do this because you don't want to rock with everybody, right? You want to kind of check into the person's energy and see what they have going on. And your energy within you will guide you to the teacher that you need to have, because that's a part of your contract anyway. When you came to the planet, you had a contract and you had certain things in place and certain things in alignment that would lead you into that, whether those things are in your favor or whether they're not. And sometimes, as I've said this many times in the past, sometimes the painful situations that fuck you up the most, sometimes these situations are the very thing that you needed to keep you from worse situations, because you're hard headed. You understand? We're hard headed. You know what I mean? And so, because we're hard headed, what up to the goddess, Charlie Lamont, peace to the goddess. Because we're hard headed and because we have all these different things that we want to do and don't want to do, we have to bump our heads against the wall. We have to get fucked up in order to learn our lesson. And so, that pain is really one of the things that we put in our contract when we first decided to come to this hologram. That's one of the things that we said we wanted to, we needed that, because the pain keeps you from shit. Now, you don't want to just have a whole lot of pain. You don't want to have a whole lot of situations where you're repeating things all the time. And so that's the reason why you want to make better choices. But this is for the next 4 months. This prognostication is for the next 4 months of your life, all the way until October. Okay, the 22nd of October is when you'll feel a major break. It'll be like a snap in the energy. Okay, and that's when Saturn decides to go back direct. This is a 4-month process, and it's been leading you up constantly, leading you up to this point that you're at right now. Okay, so Saturn is going to do it. But before I break into that, I want to break down the two faces of it. So we have this beast and we have this beautiful, or this handsome prince. This prince that all the women say, hey, I'm eligible. I have a man. You know what I mean? I can cook. They start telling themselves, they start telling you what they can do, what they have to offer, what they can put on the table. And this is what happens to the prince, because the prince to the women. The grandmothers are telling their granddaughters, hey, the prince is coming today. The girlfriends are telling each other, hey, the prince is coming today. Now, when the beast comes in, all these same people are enemies. They're all looking at the beast like, yo, back the fuck up. Don't come over here. If they get a glimpse of you or they feel like you're close, then they want to leave. They want to run. They're scared. They're running for their life, right? So these are the two different concepts of the beast and the handsome prince. The beast who actually ends up with the beauty. Okay, so the beauty is the heroine or the princess or the one who is in this fairy tale that comes from that actual psyche of man. You understand? Which is the reason why you relate to these stories in the first place, because this is the unconscious psyche that we're dealing with. Now, when we're dealing with astrology, there's a duality that has been missing from the readings. A lot of readers are not reading in the duality of the situation. So the quality of the reading is dilapidated, right? So the modern day viewpoint in astrology is not the same as it has been for millennia. Okay, so there's going to be bad planets and there's going to be good planets. Some of the planets are going to be just straight up good. That's what they do. Some of them are going to be really fucking bad. They're going to fuck you up every time they come around. That's what they do. And whenever you have like a little ambiguity or a little a little this, a little that, and you kind of work it out, you're only going to get a little bit of the opposite energy that planet works with. So if you're working with a bad planet, for instance, and you can work out the science, it just is what it is. When somebody's going through bad planetary placements, there is a misdirection inside the body temple, because just like you can bust clouds, you understand, busting clouds is moving the clouds and controlling the wind, and how you can affect the weather, and how you can affect the weather, and how you can make it rain, and you can do these particular things right there. And that's another thing too. That science in the club. We say, hey, make it rain. That's really an indigenous science. We use all these different words to describe different things, but certain things pass down through generations, and the form of it changes. But we have always been able to make it rain with these particular rain dances. Why do you think they say rain make it rain in the club where there's dancing. That's a form of the rain dance. Okay, making it rain. And the money, symbolically, money has become the sustenance to replace the rain. Money has become the sustenance to replace the rain that actually comes down from the sky, right? And fucking makes everything grow. Okay, so money has done that. So we're talking about the duality of this thing, and we're talking about how to actually decide and understand which one of these motherfuckers are you. Which one are you? Are you going to be the beautiful motherfucking, or the handsome prince, or the ugly ass beast? The rough one. And see, Saturn as a whole has got this reputation of being this ugly beast. Saturn. Okay, and you know, as we think, when you think Satan, you're probably thinking, you know, pitchfork red, you know, evil, you know, murder, kill, lie, and that is exactly the opposite. Now, when you think devil, there's a huge difference between the devil and Satan. The devil, you want to know, you want to see the devil right now? You can go and look in basically any highway on the, or any road, or any marketplace, or anywhere, any compound on the world, and you see people. The people are the devil. Okay, because the people are the ones who are lying, stealing, killing, you know, abusing people, and doing that dirt, that type of dirt, that all those actions and all those qualities that are getting placed on Satan are actually energies that are being acted upon by the people. The people are actually the real breathing, living devils. That's who is actually the devil, people. Okay, so you want to make sure that you understand that, first of all, that the devil is not Satan, and Satan is not the devil. So Satan's whole concept of understanding and whole concept of being is protection. It's all about protection. So you have to consider the source of where you're getting the information from. Satan as an entity is about protection. And that part in you, or that Saturnic, or the planet Saturn, that Saturnic part of you is about restrictions and lessons and things like that. Now, those different things, those lessons and distinctions that come, those lessons, those are basically the ugly face, or the beast type of faces that come from Saturn. Okay, because Saturn as a astrological symbol is the most malicious, the most injurious, the most dangerous symbol of all the symbols in astrology. So when you go back even into the more ancient terms of astrology, the Saturnic symbol is the most powerful one because of this planet. This is the first planet. This is what we call the black sun. If you don't know now, you know. The black sun. Okay, and it's the black sun because that chakra is a black center. So you need to stop thinking about these planets as something that exists in motherfucking space somewhere, and stop thinking about that and think about you as actually the temple of God. Okay, so you are the temple of God. Yeah, you okay? You go with the Bible. All right, you go off the Bible. Well, check this out. Let me bend your brain in half right quick. Solomon, Sol, Om, On. Sol is Latin for the word sun. Sol is Latin for the word sun. Om is Hindi for the word sun, and On is the ancient Kemetic word for the word sun. The temple of Solomon is the temple of the sun, which is your actual physical body. Your body is the temple of Solomon, the temple of the sun. Okay? So as you are the temple of the sun, you have to realize that you have to think like a fucking universe. You have to think like a universe. And why can you think like a universe? Because you have all these planets in your body. These chakras are planets. And when you think of a planet, you think, okay, well, beings live on a planet, right? Like the planet Earth has beings living on it. So you think a planet, you think it's inhabitable. Maybe there's Martians, maybe there's aliens. However you think about it, the inhabitation of beings on that planet is what you're thinking about, right? So your chakras are literally planets inside of your temple, or your hologram, or your universe. That's why it's universe, because you are it. You are it all. You're it. It starts with you and it ends with your ass. All right. You see what I'm saying? So you have each one of these chakras in your body, and each one of them is inhabited by particular thought forms. Specific thought forms live inside your body. So when you're dealing with the root chakra, you're dealing with protection, you're dealing with all of that. When things go out of whack, when they go out of line, these thought forms that are there, they start to act the fuck up. And then sometimes you might get smacked the fuck up. You see what I mean? That's why you got to go in there and put them in check and make sure that you can control that as the God, the one who makes the decision to either build or destroy. See, the problem is that a lot of these planets, these intergalactic, interplanetary situations, right? These chakras, they've been hijacked. You talk about alien invasions. That's what these thought forms are doing. So when you go back into your mind and your catalog of different programming that you've seen, cartoons, television, whatever, movies, whatever, you think about an alien invasion, that's what's happening to you every time you get influenced by some bullshit. Every time you get influenced with some bullshit, every time you speak negatively against yourself, there's a natural programming, and this is a type or a form of alien invasion by these thought forms. And now you can say, okay, fuck it, I forget. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. I'm going to go ahead about my business. I'm going to go ahead and rock with this. And you do the thing, and then you don't really get rid of the thought form. But the thought form kind of is cool because you're just well fed. It's like fat and eating good. And motherfucker that sat there, they don't need to eat for a while. They good. But as soon as they get hungry and they feel like they need to eat again, guess what they're going to do? They're going to cause ruckus in your hologram in order for situations and circumstances in your hologram to react in a way to where you can feed them again. And that's how they'll constantly get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So that's why you have to constantly, at a daily basis, do it. Now, of course, when you get really dope, you get really good, and even when you do get really good, you still have to be consistent. But when you get good and consistent, it's just like playing a sport, right? You take that jump shot every single day. Eventually, you don't need to go out there and just practice every day, all day long, right? Because you can do it at will. You could just bust a move when you're ready to. You know what I'm saying? So like with these practices, you can build and permeate this energy and build it and put it into your aura. That way, when you get to that point, and it's going to take a while, a consistency, because if you're looking for that, for just be able to just do it real quick without having to spend a lot of time and all of that, you have to think about that. That's important. And what are you doing when you do that? What are you doing when you do that? Because there are things that you like to do, whatever that might be. It might be a little bit of this, it might be a little bit of that, but you like to do that shit. And when you like to do it, you don't be looking at the clock. And when you do look at the clock, you're like kind of like making excuses for why you should go longer. You do what you want to do is what I'm trying to say. You understand what I'm saying? You do what you want to do. So if you feel attracted to the energy or the power, you have to be consistent with doing that. And that's the science. Okay, so Saturn being the most injurious or most malicious of all these particular symbols, it has a face of a beast that's well recognized, and people are scared of this motherfucking face. They don't want to see they don't even know to look for the duality in this particular position. And right now, I'm telling you right now, for the next 4 months, we're going to be going through different things. It's going to be like a mass type of situation. And this is the energy that's on the planet right now, because Saturn as the first planet has a very hard effect. That's why when you're doing chakra work or you're doing energy work and you work on Saturn first, you don't want to spend more time on Saturn than you spend on some of the more friendly energies, because Saturn will kick your ass. Saturn's going to beat you up. Okay, now it's not going to always do it. If you're just that solid, then you don't really have a lot of lessons to learn. Okay, so you have to understand what Saturn is all about. What is it really all about? Okay, it has an alternate face, and that's what we want to deal with. And in the readings, I'm going to be dealing with you specifically on your signs, and I'm going to take you through the sign, and I'm going to give you a 4-month prognostication personally so that you can understand exactly what's happening for the next 4 months. Okay, now you want to really understand this prince face. That's the face that you want to take. You want to take the face of the handsome prince in this case. You don't want to be the beast, because everybody's scared of the goddamn beast. Nobody want to rock with the beast. Okay, now both of these symbols, they cannot communicate their true meaning until the interpretation of the other has been understood. Otherwise, you're dealing with that flat 2-dimensional value, and that's what you want to avoid. You want to avoid that. You want to basically get this 3-dimensional understanding of what this duality principle and this dual quality has to do with you and how can it affect you. Okay, now Saturn, it symbolizes basically a psychic process, right? A psychic process, the process that we go through psychically, energetically inside of ourselves as we are considering things, as we are learning lessons, and as we are understanding exactly what happened, what the fuck just happened. As we're understanding that and we're really looking at it and we're taking our time to go through that understanding, Saturn is there to basically smack you around instead of coddling you. Instead of saying, "Oh, okay, well, it's all right, baby," and Saturn gonna smack you in the back of the head and be like, "Get this shit right this time." Okay, so the retrograde is even more severe. Okay, and that's what we want to be able to do, is to convert that energy to be able to help to understand what that is and how to actually go through that. Now, this psychic process that Saturn basically represents is something that is representative of pain. Yes, it's representative of pain, discipline. Because you have to discipline yourself. Now, we mostly are all grown people, right? So, as a grown person, nobody, who the hell gonna discipline you? Your job, your landlord, your spouse, right? No, you have to discipline yourself. And so this is a perfect time for Saturn to be able to do that. So if you're in your business, you have a business, your business is started and it's popping, or if it's just getting ready to start or whatever, then you got it. This is grind mode, because you will learn the lessons. You'll learn exactly what to do, right? That's the discipline that you'll need, because you'll say, okay, I need a little bit more of this, a little bit less of that. You'll learn when and how to restrict yourself. And you'll learn how to convert those painful situations into prosperous situations so that you can evolve and grow and get all powerful, right? Because you want to be able to protect yourself. You want to be able to guide yourself. You want to be able to lead yourself, and you do not want to be fucked up. And so Saturn, as a dualistic property, is going to represent the restriction, the pain, and the discipline. But on the other side, it's going to represent the psychic process. It's going to represent the naturality of that psychic process, which is going to break down into several different type of steps. And you use that natural process to help you to utilize the experience of pain, because you want to be able to get through the painful situation without being broke the fuck down. Because yeah, we go through stuff. You fall, you bust your ass, and you get up and you figure out what happened, how not to repeat it, what can you pay forward, and if you do, you got to destroy a motherfucker in the process. And I want to say that most of the time, you don't have to do any dirt. You don't got to do dirt. Okay? You don't need to do. Let me say it like this: you never need to do dirt unless you're solid. Okay, and I mean solid. What takes it solid is that you are balancing your own energy, and you don't have nobody else in the background who, you looking over here at this motherfucker, but they over there looking at you like you that motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't owe somebody money and then go after somebody for owing you money. You see what I mean? You can't get mad at somebody speaking against you if you're speaking against somebody else. So you have to be solid. And if you're solid, then you have different options. You know what I mean? And most of the time, most of the solid people, they don't choose to put energy out at somebody. Okay? Now, you put energy out at the wrong person, you're going to get fucked up. Right? And it's not even that the person has to know or whatever. The spirits that they're involved with, the energies that they're involved with, the entities that they're involved with, always protect them. Okay, so the thing is that we're not learning or using this craft in order to harm each other. We're learning and using this craft. We're mastering this craft in order to better ourselves. And in the process of me bettering myself, I need to hook your ass up. And in the process of you bettering yourself, you need to hook their ass up. And that's how we're supposed to actually evolve. Because if you have children, don't you want this to be a better fucking place to grow up? Because you see the way the world going now. I mean, genders have multiplied. You see what I'm saying? They have a new supercomputer now where they can transfer consciousness. Supposedly, they can transfer the consciousness into a device like a hard drive. Okay? They have a fake sun. China's had this fake sun for at least a year, right? Where it's this master hydrogen energy. Okay, look it up if you don't know. They have a fake sun in China, right? They're doing Bill Gates. They're doing all kind of experiments and every kind of research to try to figure out how to block the sun. So we have some motherfucking work to do. You see what I'm saying? We have a lot of work to do, especially if you want to be living here in old age. You want your grandchildren and your grandchildren's grandchildren to actually live on a planet that's clean and don't have all these weird, dumb, crazy ideas going on. We have a lot of fucking work to do. There is no time to be caught up in our feelings. There's no time to be emotional and acting like some little bitches. Just straight up. You know what I'm saying? Spirits don't respect that. They look at you like, yo, you in this thing for the long run. You see what I'm saying? These spirits have been living for thousands of years, where you've only taken this body for under 100, and you've created more damage than a lot of the spirits have created over thousands of years. You see what I'm saying? They're not running around lying to you, stealing from you, hurting you, murdering you, but we're running around doing that shit, and that's a fucking problem. So you have to be consistent and realize that we are more than 500 years behind. We're more than 500 years behind. We're more than 500 years behind. So that's why we got to do what we do and do it right the first time. And if you didn't do it right the first time, you need to use the introspection that you have from those mistakes and from the accumulated pain and these experiences and convert that into that Saturnic energy, which is dealing with that psychic process. It's the psychic process. So stop looking at your situations like, oh, this happened. Nah, you happened, motherfucker. You let that shit happen. Okay? So now you need to realize, oh, I let it happen. It's all about taking accountability and making different moves, evolving. If you're the same motherfucker in 15 minutes, in 20 minutes, in 30 minutes that you were 15, 20, or 30 minutes before that, you are automatically going backwards. Evolution is a must. It's not a choice. You don't get to choose to evolve. Once you're in the motion of evolution, you're going to evolve. And if you sit still, you're moving backwards because things are moving on this realm. And once you sit still, you're naturally going the wrong direction. That's why you have to constantly move forward and do that. And so right now, this is a prognostication for the next 4 months, dealing with the planet Saturn specifically and understanding that dualistic property that belongs to the planet symbolically to help you understand how you as the root chakra, how you Muldhara, how you as that particular planetary energy encases you, which is a dimension of its own that does have inhabitants and powers and beings and associations and all that you do for the planet Saturn is really what you're doing for yourself ultimately. This is the meaning of being a god and understanding the duality of this situation. So how Saturn is known as being an ugly, stern beast, right? That beast versus the handsome prince, you know, someone who's able to inspire fear, someone who's able to, you know, make the people fear easily just with the presence versus that handsome prince who marries the, you know, the only woman in the story. You know what I'm saying? And that's who you want to be. You want to be the winner in the situation. And so you have to understand that dualistic property. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and open up everything to allow you to, let me check all the comments and everything on these three different sides. Let me go to Facebook. I'm going to open up the opportunity. Cash App is $Alchemy Temple 108. If you're interested in getting a reading, make the exchange of $25 to Cash App and 108, and then I will confirm that, and from there we will get your reading. Now in the reading, like I said, I will go through your astrological symbol individually and how this particular pattern is associated, how it's affiliated with you, and how you are to what you're supposed to do to be able to make it through these next 4 months on top of the game. Okay, what are you supposed to do to be able to do this? Because right after this Saturn gets out the way, Mercury's coming back. So if you got your ass whooped from Mercury, if you got beat up from Mercury last month, how many of y'all got beat up last month from Mercury? Just a little bit. Did you get scratched, scraped, scathed? Did you get bruised up a little bit? Let me know if you got beat up a little bit from Mercury last month. Okay, it's coming back again, and you want to be able to prepare for that. You got to get active now. Okay, so just make sure that you're looking for that, and I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through that. I'm going to give you a few minutes to go ahead and do the thing. I'm going to play a track in between time. In the meantime, just to go, I'm going to take a quick break. If you are interested for a reading, it's only $25 today. The Cash App is $alchemytemple.org. Okay, let's get it. I'll be right back. Yeah. Turn the headphones up on this one. Yeah. To my right on this one. Yeah. Turn the speakers all the way up on this one. Yeah. Turn your light up on this one. Bright shadow. And let's rock.
6 million ways to die. 2, 1.
You ain't know it and you never been a shaman. More like bitch niggas softer than two-ply shaman. You bring your weak women.
Saran, you gotta sit down.
I'm looking like a dirty prima donna. Next step for you to be a full-blown crackhead.
Bro.
Have it, crack it, throw a bitch up, magic. Wait for you to end this tragic, on and on again. I'll be riding on the wind. My rats gon' make me tin. Release that evil grin. On and on again. Riding on the wind. Murder you once and you bring your fam. And then I'll murder your twin. Yeah. Turn the headphones up on this one. Yeah. Put your mind right on this one. Yeah. Turn the speakers all the way up on this one. Yeah. Turn your light up on this one. Bright shadow. I take your mic on a Sunday and I won't give it back. Leave your body in pain until your mind's intact. And I might take a few lifetime sentences so whack, yo. I do the cake and you regurgitate someone else's facts. You a clone of the worst of me. You ain't even had one anniversary. I'm on my throne, traveling the ether, the real witch breeder. You a carbon copy, you want Barbie, while looking like Bonquisha. Or about the Mona Lisa, must be suicidal. Why would you want to battle me? On and on again. I'll be riding on the wind. My rides gon' make me tin. Release that evil grin. It's going on and on again. Riding on the wind. Murder you once and kill your friend. And then I'll murder your twin. Yeah. Turn the headphones up on this one. Yeah. Put your mind right on this one. Yeah, nigga, what? Yeah, nigga, what? Yeah. Turn the speakers all the way up on this one. Yeah. Turn your light up on this one. Yeah, nigga, bright shadow. The less rock. You was barely not praying to Jesus when I first met you. Only let you fuck with the guy cause of Jaja. Then when you tried to, made me wanna knock your block off. Nigga, she made you. You should be grateful I might just snatch up your avatar. You not fit to even rock one of them sigil tattoos. Using scare tactics to get mediocre hoes. I can pull up at any time, jump on the ether with plenty fire. Jump on a plane to your city from wherever I'm at. I beat your ass like your unkept son. Nigga, I burn human like the surface of the sun.
Bro. Saran, bro.
Yo. We back in full effect. Okay. Yes. So, all right. So I got a couple of people on here who wanted to do this and they have requested private readings. So if anybody wants to get a live reading, then you need to let me know now because I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast and get into these private readings. But the situation is just make sure that you are paying attention, that you are protected in yourself, and that you understand how to prepare for this, that you can understand how to get ready. And if you got caught slipping, don't get caught slipping again. Protect yourself at all times. And remember that there's a dualistic property, there's a dualistic value that goes with the Saturnic energy. So look into that. If you're interested in the reading, go ahead and contact me, inbox me, or email me at drharuelbay@alchemytemple.org, or go ahead and hit me up if you have my number. If not, you can reach me on Facebook or any of these particular platforms that I'm on right now. If you're on there, if you're on Clubhouse, reach me on Clubhouse. If you're on YouTube, reach me on YouTube. My email is drharuelbay@alchemytemple.org. And Facebook, you can reach me on Alchemy Temple page. Okay, so it looks like there's no one in here that is needing a reading public. So We're gonna go ahead and go. But one love to everybody in the building. I'll go back and check the comments at the end. Oh, I see the comments now. I see them now. Okay, hold on. Let me double check. Hold on. Double check. Okay. I hope this is all of them. Okay. All right. Cool. So let me check here. Okay. All right. All right. One love. I'm out.